What if you could wake up every single day knowing that you're one step closer to the life you've always dreamed of? What if progress wasn't something you hoped for, but something you knew was happening day by day, moment by moment? Sounds impossible, doesn't it? But here's the truth. Progress isn't reserved for the lucky few or the naturally gifted. It's available to anyone willing to take small, consistent action. And today, you're going to learn exactly how to make progress every single day, no matter where you are starting from. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap to move forward. And as a reward for sticking around until the very end, I'll share a powerful secret that has transformed countless lives, including my own. So stay with me. Let's start by addressing a question we all ask ourselves at some point. Why does progress feel so hard? Why do we set goals with such excitement only to find ourselves stuck weeks or months later? The answer lies in how we approach growth. Most people think progress means dramatic changes, overnight transformations, massive leaps, instant results. But here's the reality. Lasting progress doesn't come from huge, unsustainable efforts. It comes from tiny, deliberate actions repeated consistently over time. Think about a river carving through a mountain. It doesn't happen because of one big storm. It happens drop by drop, year after year. That same principle applies to your life. Every choice you make, no matter how small, shapes the person you're becoming. Now let's talk about why consistency works and why it's so deeply tied to human psychology. Our brains love patterns. They crave structure and routine because they help us conserve energy and reduce decision fatigue. When you commit to doing even one small thing every day, whether it's reading 5 pages of a book, drinking more water, or writing down 3 things you're grateful for, you create a habit loop. This loop reinforces itself each time you repeat the behavior, making it easier and more automatic. Over time, these small habits stack up like building blocks, creating momentum that propels you toward your goals. You might not see the impact immediately, but trust me, the compound effect is real. Just like interest grows in a bank account, your daily efforts accumulate into something extraordinary. But here's the catch. Consistency requires patience. And patience is something many of us struggle with in this fast-paced world. We want quick fixes, instant gratification, immediate results. Yet deep down, we know those shortcuts rarely lead to meaningful change. Real progress demands showing up, even when it feels boring or uncomfortable. It demands trusting the process, even when you can't see the finish line. Because here's the beautiful part. Every time you choose to show up, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought possible. Each small victory strengthens your belief in yourself, which fuels your motivation to keep going. Progress becomes less about external outcomes and more about who you become along the way. So, what does this mean for you right now? It means that no matter where you are in life, no matter how far away your goals may seem, you have the power to start making progress today. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. All you need is one small step, one decision to move forward instead of standing still. Maybe it's committing to wake up 10 minutes earlier tomorrow, or deciding to write down one thing you want to achieve this week. Whatever it is, take that first step. Because once you do, something incredible happens. You begin to shift your mindset. You start seeing yourself as someone who takes action, someone who moves forward, someone who refuses to settle for stagnation. And here's the best part. When you focus on daily progress, you stop obsessing over perfection. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress because it paralyzes us with fear of failure or judgment. But when you embrace the idea that progress, not perfection, is the goal, you free yourself to experiment, to learn, and to grow. You realize that mistakes aren't failures, they're stepping stones. They're lessons that teach you what to do differently next time. Every stumble brings you closer to success as long as you get back up and keep moving. By now, you might be wondering, how do I actually implement this in my life? Don't worry, that's what we're diving into next. In the coming sections, you'll discover practical strategies to build unstoppable momentum, overcome procrastination, and design a life that aligns with your deepest desires. But before we go there, I want to remind you of this. The journey to progress starts with a single decision. The decision to believe in yourself, to believe that you are worthy of growth, worthy of happiness, worthy of achieving your dreams. Hold on to that belief tightly because it will carry you through the challenges ahead. Remember, I promised you a special reward for watching until the end, a secret that has helped thousands unlock their potential. Stick with me, and together, we'll uncover the tools you need to create unstoppable momentum in your life. Are you ready to transform your days into stepping stones toward greatness? Let's dive deeper. Now, let's talk about why consistency beats intensity every single time. You've probably been there, pouring everything you have into a goal for a week or two, only to burn out and abandon it completely. Maybe you went all in on a fitness plan, worked late nights on a project, or tried to overhaul your entire lifestyle at once. It felt good in the moment, didn't it? That rush of adrenaline, the sense of control, the belief that this time would be different, but deep down you knew it wasn't sustainable. Why? Because intensity is like a sprint. It feels powerful but leaves you exhausted and empty-handed if you can't cross the finish line. Consistency, on the other hand, is a marathon. It might not feel as glamorous at first, but it's what gets you to where you want to go. Think about nature for a moment. Trees don't grow overnight. They stretch toward the sky inch by inch, day after day, through sunshine and storms alike. Their strength comes from steady growth, not sudden bursts. The same principle applies to your life. When you show up consistently, even in small ways, you create a foundation of reliability within yourself. Over time, those seemingly insignificant actions add up to something extraordinary. A few minutes of reading each day becomes knowledge. A daily walk becomes endurance. Writing down your thoughts becomes clarity. What seems trivial now compounds into transformation later. Here's the science behind it. Our brains are wired to prioritize repetition over randomness. When you do something regularly, your neural pathways adapt, making the behavior easier and more natural over time. This is how habits form. At first, it takes effort to stick to a new routine, but eventually, it becomes second nature. And when something feels automatic, it stops feeling like work. That's the magic of consistency. It removes the resistance that often holds us back. Instead of relying on willpower, which is finite, you're building systems that support your progress without draining you. But here's the truth most people miss. Consistency doesn't mean doing everything perfectly every day. It means showing up, even when it's imperfect. Some days, you'll give 100%. Other days, you'll give 10%. And that's okay. Progress isn't about being flawless, it's about being present. It's about choosing to take one step forward, no matter how small, instead of standing still. Every action you take reinforces the belief that you're capable of change. Each day you stay committed proves to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses. So how do you shift from chasing intensity to embracing consistency? Start by letting go of the need for immediate results. Trust the process. Understand that real growth happens gradually, beneath the surface, where no one else can see it. Focus on the joy of the journey rather than obsessing over the destination. Celebrate the fact that you're moving forward, even if it's slower than you'd like. Remember, rivers flow steadily because they follow their course, not because they rush. Be the river. Consistency also teaches you resilience. Life will throw obstacles your way. Busy schedules, unexpected challenges, moments of doubt. But when you commit to showing up daily, you train yourself to push through. You learn to adapt, to find solutions, to keep going even when it's hard. And with each obstacle you overcome, your confidence grows. You begin to realize that setbacks don't define you, they refine you. They prepare you for the next level of success. The beauty of consistency is that it gives you freedom. Freedom from the pressure to get it right immediately. Freedom from the fear of failure. Freedom to focus on the process instead of the outcome. When you embrace consistency, you stop waiting for the perfect moment to start. You understand that the best time to begin is always now. So ask yourself, what's one thing you can do today, no matter how small, to move closer to your dreams? Do that thing. Then do it again tomorrow and the next day. Before you know it, you'll look back and see just how far you've come. Now, let's dive deeper into the heart of your journey, defining your why. Why does progress matter to you? What drives you to wake up each day and push forward even when the road feels uncertain? Understanding your purpose isn't just a nice to have, it's the foundation that keeps you anchored when challenges arise. Without a strong why, motivation fades, goals lose their meaning, and progress stalls. But when you connect with your deeper reason for striving, everything changes. Suddenly, every step you take has weight, every effort carries significance, and every setback becomes an opportunity to realign with what truly matters. Think about the times in your life when you felt unstoppable. Chances are those moments were fueled by something greater than yourself, a desire to provide for loved ones, to prove doubters wrong, or to create a future worth fighting for. That emotional spark is what transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary achievements. It's not just about ticking boxes on a to-do list. It's about living with intention. When you know why you're doing something, the how becomes clearer and the obstacles feel smaller. Your why gives you direction when the path seems unclear and strength when the climb feels steep. But defining your why isn't always easy. In fact, many people never stop to ask themselves this critical question. They chase goals because they think they should, not because they genuinely care. And that's where so many fall short. They lack the emotional fuel needed to sustain long-term effort. So take a moment right now to reflect. What is it that lights a fire inside you? Is it freedom, security, love, legacy, or something else entirely? Whatever it is, own it. Write it down. Let it guide you. Because here's the truth. When your why is compelling enough, no obstacle can stand in your way. Your purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It just needs to be authentic. Maybe your why is as simple as wanting to improve your health so you can play with your kids without feeling tired. Or perhaps it's about proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. Whatever it is, make sure it resonates deeply with who you are and who you want to become. When your why aligns with your values, it becomes a source of endless energy. It pushes you out of bed on days when motivation feels low and reminds you why giving up is never an option. Here's the powerful part about having a clear why. It helps you filter distraction. When you know exactly what you're working toward, it's easier to say no to things that don't serve your vision. You stop wasting time on activities that drain you and start investing in actions that bring you closer to your goals. Your purpose acts like a compass, pointing you in the right direction and keeping you focused on what truly matters. This clarity allows you to move forward with confidence, knowing that every decision you make is aligned with your bigger picture. At its core, your why is more than just motivation. It's your anchor during storms. Life will inevitably throw curveballs your way. There will be days when self-doubt creeps in, when failures knock you down, or when progress feels painfully slow. In those moments, your why becomes your lifeline. It reminds you of the promise you made to yourself, the dream you refuse to let go of. It whispers in your ear, keep going. You've got this. And with that reminder, you find the courage to rise again. So as you continue on your journey toward daily progress, carry your why with you. Let it inspire your choices, fuel your actions, and remind you of the incredible potential within you. Ask yourself often, does this align with my purpose? Am I staying true to what matters most? These questions will keep you grounded and moving in the right direction. Progress isn't just about taking steps. It's about taking meaningful steps toward a life that reflects your deepest desires. And when you live with purpose, every day becomes an opportunity to grow, evolve, and shine brighter than before. Now that you've connected with your why, it's time to break down the big picture into manageable pieces, micro goals. Think of your ultimate dream as a mountain peak in the distance. It's breathtaking, inspiring, and maybe even a little intimidating. But here's the secret. No one climbs a mountain in a single leap. They take it step by step, focusing only on the path ahead. Micro goals are those small, intentional steps that turn an overwhelming journey into something achievable. The beauty of micro goals lies in their simplicity. Instead of aiming to get fit, you commit to drinking 1 extra glass of water today. Instead of saying, I want to write a book, you decide to jot down 50 words. These tiny actions may seem insignificant at first glance, but they hold immense power. Why? Because action breeds momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Every time you complete a micro goal, you prove to yourself that you're capable of moving forward. That sense of accomplishment fuels your motivation to tackle the next task, creating a cycle of progress that keeps you going. Let's talk about why breaking things down works so well from a psychological perspective. Our brains are wired to prioritize immediate rewards over long-term gains. This is why big goals can feel paralyzing. They're too far away to trigger the dopamine hit we crave. Micro goals, on the other hand, give us instant feedback. Completing a small task provides a quick win, which boosts our mood and reinforces positive behavior. Over time, these small wins stack up, proving that success isn't reserved for those who wait. It's built through consistent effort. But there's another layer to this strategy. Micro goals reduce overwhelm. Have you ever stared at a massive goal and felt frozen, unsure where to start? That's because large objectives often feel abstract and out of reach. Breaking them into bite-sized pieces makes them tangible. Suddenly, you're not trying to run a marathon. You're lacing up your shoes and stepping outside for a 5-minute jog. You're not building a business overnight. You're making one phone call or drafting one email. Each micro goal brings clarity, turning vague aspirations into concrete actions. And here's the best part. Micro goals allow room for flexibility. Life rarely goes according to plan, and rigid expectations can lead to frustration when things don't work out perfectly. With micro goals, you're free to adapt without losing sight of your destination. If today doesn't go as planned, tomorrow offers a fresh opportunity to take another small step. Progress isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Even if you stumble along the way, completing just one micro goal still moves you closer to where you want to be. The key to mastering this approach is learning how to celebrate these incremental victories. Too often we dismiss small accomplishments because they don't match the scale of our larger dreams. But every step counts. Every effort matters. When you acknowledge and honor your progress, even the tiniest bit, you train your brain to associate hard work with positivity. This rewiring creates a mindset shift. Instead of dreading challenges, you begin to embrace them as opportunities to grow. So as you move forward, challenge yourself to think smaller. Not because your dreams should shrink, but because breaking them into pieces makes them easier to conquer. Focus on what you can control today, not what might happen months or years from now. Ask yourself, what's the smallest action I can take right now to align with my purpose? Then take it. Repeat the process tomorrow and the day after that. Before you realize it, those tiny steps will add up to monumental change. After all, greatness isn't achieved in giant leaps. It's crafted through countless moments of deliberate effort. Keep showing up, one small step at a time, and watch as the impossible becomes possible. Now that you've embraced the power of micro goals, let's explore the science behind habit formation. The invisible force that turns effort into habits are the building blocks of progress, the quiet routines that shape our lives without us even realizing it. They're like the roots of a tree, hidden beneath the surface, yet essential for growth. When you understand how habits work, you unlock the ability to design your life intentionally, creating systems that support your dreams instead of leaving them to chance. At the core of every habit is a simple loop: cue, routine, reward. It starts with a trigger, a cue that prompts you to take action. This could be something as simple as seeing your running shoes by the door or feeling the morning sun on your face. Next comes the routine, the behavior itself, the run you go on, or the gratitude journal you open. Finally, there's the reward, the positive reinforcement that tells your brain, this is worth repeating. Over time, this loop becomes automatic, freeing up mental energy for other things. That's why brushing your teeth doesn't require willpower, it's a habit. And just like that, you can train yourself to make any behavior second nature. But here's the magic. Habits aren't about discipline. They're about design. Willpower is finite. It waxes and wanes depending on stress, fatigue, or emotions. Relying solely on motivation is like trying to drive a car with an empty gas tank. Instead, focus on designing your environment to support your goals. Want to read more? Place a book on your pillow every night. Trying to eat healthier? Stock your kitchen with nourishing foods. Small changes in your surroundings can dramatically increase your chances of success because they reduce the friction between you and the actions you want to take. Another key element of habit formation is consistency over intensity. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. In fact, research shows that starting small, focusing on habits that take 2 minutes or less, is one of the most effective ways to create lasting change. It's not about doing everything perfectly, it's about showing up imperfectly but consistently. Drinking 1 glass of water each morning might seem insignificant, but over weeks and months it becomes a non-negotiable part of your day. These tiny rituals compound, shaping who you are and what you achieve. And here's something profound. Habits teach you trust, not just in yourself, but in the process. When you commit to a new routine, you're making a promise to your future self. Every time you honor that promise, you strengthen your belief that you're capable of growth. This builds resilience, giving you the confidence to tackle bigger challenges, even when life feels chaotic. Your habits serve as anchors, reminding you that progress is still possible, one small step at a time. The beauty of habits lies in their subtlety. They work quietly in the background, transforming ordinary moments into extraordinary results. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the person you've become, the disciplined, focused, unstoppable version of yourself, is simply the sum of the habits you've cultivated. You didn't get there through grand gestures or heroic efforts. You got there through countless small decisions, repeated daily, until they became part of who you are. So, as you continue on your journey, think about the habits you want to nurture. What behaviors will bring you closer to your dreams? Start small, stay consistent, and trust the process. Remember, you're not just building habits, you're building a better version of yourself. Each repetition wires your brain for success, making the impossible feel inevitable. Progress isn't loud or flashy, it's steady and silent, like the ticking of a clock. Keep going, keep growing, and watch as the seeds you plant today blossom into a life beyond your wildest imagination. Now let's address one of the biggest roadblocks to progress: procrastination. We've all been there, staring at a task, knowing we should start, yet finding every excuse to delay. It's not laziness or lack of ambition that holds us back. It's often fear, overwhelm, or uncertainty masquerading as resistance. But here's the truth about procrastination. It thrives in the absence of clarity and action. The moment you break through the inertia, it loses its power over you. So how do you take control? By understanding what lies beneath your hesitation and arming yourself with tools to move forward anyway. At its core, procrastination is less about avoiding work and more about avoiding discomfort. Whether it's fear of failure, perfectionism, or simply not knowing where to begin, the root cause is almost always emotional. You're not putting off the task itself, you're putting off the feelings associated with it. Maybe it feels too big, too complicated, or too risky. That's why the first step isn't trying to conquer the entire project, it's simply starting. And here's the secret. Momentum is the antidote to procrastination. Once you take that first small step, the weight lifts, and suddenly the next step feels easier. So how do you create momentum when everything inside you wants to stall? Start with the 5-minute rule. Commit to doing just 5 minutes of the task you've been avoiding. Tell yourself, I'll write for 5 minutes. I'll organize my desk for 5 minutes, or I'll make one phone call. The beauty of this approach is that it lowers the stakes. 5 minutes feels manageable even if the rest of the task seems overwhelming. And here's what happens 9 times out of 10. Once you start, you keep going. Why? Because beginning is the hardest part. Once you're in motion, your brain shifts from resisting to engaging, and the flow takes over. But overcoming procrastination isn't just about tactics, it's also about mindset. Too often we fall into the trap of waiting for the perfect time to act. We wait for inspiration to strike, for motivation to kick in, or for life to settle down before we start. Here's the reality. There will never be a perfect time. Life is messy, unpredictable, and full of distractions. Waiting for ideal conditions only delays your progress. Instead, adopt the mindset of imperfection. Give yourself permission to start messy, to stumble, to figure things out along the way. Progress doesn't demand perfection. It demands participation. Another powerful tool for beating procrastination is reframing how you view challenges. Instead of seeing tasks as burdens, see them as opportunities to grow. Every email you send, every workout you complete, every page you write is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. When you shift your perspective from obligation to opportunity, the resistance begins to fade. Suddenly, taking action becomes an investment in yourself, a chance to prove that you're capable of more than you thought possible. And here's something important to remember. Procrastination doesn't define you. Everyone struggles with it, even those who seem unstoppable. What sets successful people apart isn't that they never procrastinate. It's that they don't let it stop them. They acknowledge the resistance, then push through it anyway. They remind themselves why they started and focus on the reward waiting on the other side of effort. You can do the same. Each time you choose action over avoidance, you build resilience. You train your mind to trust that discomfort is temporary, but the growth it brings lasts forever. As you continue building habits and pursuing your goals, know this: procrastination will still whisper doubts in your ear. It will try to convince you that tomorrow is a better day to start. But now you have the tools to silence it. Break tasks into smaller pieces. Commit to just 5 minutes and embrace the messiness of progress. Remind yourself that every great achievement began with imperfect starts and uncertain steps. Progress isn't about having everything figured out. It's about showing up anyway. So take that first step today. Prove to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses, because when you choose action over hesitation, you reclaim your power to shape your future, one courageous decision at a time. Now, let's talk about the foundation of your day, your morning routine. How you start your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. Think of it like launching a rocket. If the initial trajectory is strong and focused, the rest of the journey becomes smoother. Your mornings are your launch pad, the time when you decide whether the day ahead will be reactive or intentional. When you take control of your mornings, you take control of your mindset, your energy, and ultimately your progress. It's not just about what you do. It's about how those actions prepare you to face the world. The truth is, most people wake up on autopilot. They grab their phones, scroll through endless notifications, and immediately let external forces dictate their mood and priorities. By doing this, they hand over their power before the day has even begun. But imagine starting your day differently, on your terms. Imagine creating a ritual that fills you with purpose, clarity, and calm before the chaos of life kicks in. This isn't about adding more tasks to your plate. It's about designing a routine that fuels your soul and aligns with your goals. Whether it's sipping tea in silence, journaling your thoughts, or moving your body, these moments belong entirely to you. Why does a morning routine matter so much? Because it gives you a sense of agency. Life can feel unpredictable, but your morning is one part of the day you can always claim as your own. When you dedicate this time to activities that nourish your mind, body, and spirit, you show up stronger for everything else. You're no longer reacting to circumstances, you're leading them. A well-crafted morning routine acts as an anchor, grounding you in presence and intention. It reminds you that no matter what happens outside, you have the power to shape how you respond. But here's the key. Your morning routine doesn't need to look like anyone else's. What works for one person might not resonate with you, and that's okay. The magic lies in finding practices that genuinely energize and inspire you. Maybe it's 10 minutes of stretching to awaken your body. Maybe it's writing down 3 things you're grateful for to shift your focus toward abundance. Or perhaps it's simply sitting by the window, watching the sunrise, and allowing yourself to breathe deeply. Whatever it is, make sure it feels authentic to who you are. Authenticity breeds consistency, and consistency builds momentum. There's another layer to this. Mornings are precious because they're free from distractions, at least for a little while. Before emails flood your inbox or responsibilities pile up, you have a rare opportunity to connect with yourself. Use this time wisely. Ask yourself, what would help me feel centered today? What action could set a positive tone for the hours ahead? Even something as simple as drinking a glass of water or reciting an empowering affirmation can create a ripple effect. These small choices may seem insignificant, but they plant seeds of intention that grow throughout the day. And here's the beautiful part. When you master your mornings, you reclaim your power. You stop letting urgency dictate your life and start living with purpose. Each morning becomes a fresh start, a chance to reset and refocus. Over time, this practice compounds. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and suddenly, you realize you've built a life where progress feels natural, not forced. You've created space for growth, creativity, and joy to flourish. So as you move forward, ask yourself, what kind of mornings will serve the person I want to become? What rituals will help me step into my day with confidence and clarity? Start small, experiment until you find what resonates, and commit to it. Remember, mornings aren't just a time to wake up, they're a time to rise. Rise above distractions, rise above doubt, and rise into the limitless potential within you. Because every great day begins with a great morning, and every great morning begins with you. Now, let's talk about focus. The quiet force that turns scattered efforts into meaningful progress. In a world buzzing with distractions, staying focused feels like trying to light a candle in a storm. Notifications ping, deadlines loom, and the pull of endless entertainment threatens to steal your attention. But here's the truth. Focus isn't just a skill, it's a superpower. When you train yourself to concentrate on what truly matters, you cut through the noise and create space for growth. Focus transforms chaos into clarity, confusion into direction, and effort into impact. Think about the last time you gave something your undivided attention. Maybe it was reading a book, working on a passion project, or having a deep conversation with someone you care about. How did it feel? Chances are time seemed to disappear and you were fully immersed in the moment. That state of flow is where real progress happens. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter, channeling your energy into one thing at a time. Multitasking might seem efficient, but studies show it fractures your attention and lowers the quality of your work. True productivity comes from singularity, choosing one priority and pouring your full presence into it. But how do you cultivate focus in a world designed to steal it? The first step is setting boundaries. Distractions aren't just external, they're internal too. Social media, email alerts, and even well-meaning colleagues can derail you if you let them. So take control. Silence your phone, close unnecessary tabs, and carve out blocks of uninterrupted time for your most important tasks. Treat these moments as sacred appointments with yourself. If someone asks why you're unavailable, remind them and yourself that focus is non-negotiable. It's the foundation of progress. Another powerful tool for sharpening focus is mindfulness. Mindfulness isn't just sitting cross-legged and meditating, it's the practice of being fully present no matter what you're doing. When your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to the task at hand. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly transformative. Each time you refocus, you strengthen your mental muscles, much like lifting weights builds physical strength. Over time, this discipline rewires your brain, making it easier to stay centered, even in the face of chaos. Here's the deeper truth about focus. It's not just about getting things done. It's about aligning your actions with your values. When you concentrate on what truly matters, you eliminate the clutter of busy work and meaningless pursuits. You stop chasing perfection and start prioritizing purpose. Ask yourself, what am I focusing on right now? Does it bring me closer to my goals? If the answer is no, redirect your energy. Progress doesn't come from doing more, it comes from doing what matters most. And yet there will be days when focus feels elusive. Your mind will race, your to-do list will overwhelm you, and distractions will creep in. On those days, remember this: focus isn't about achieving perfection, it's about showing up anyway. Even small bursts of concentrated effort can move you forward. Break your tasks into shorter intervals, using techniques like the Pomodoro method, working for 25 minutes, then taking a break. These mini sprints of focus add up, creating momentum even when motivation wavers. The beauty of focus lies in its ripple effect. When you commit to giving your best to one thing, you inspire yourself to give your best to everything else. Focus teaches you patience, reminding you that great achievements take time. It trains you to trust the process, knowing that every moment of concentration brings you closer to your dreams. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds you that you have the power to choose where your energy goes. In a distracted world, that choice is revolutionary. So as you continue building your habits and routines, guard your focus fiercely. Protect it like the precious resource it is. Set boundaries, practice mindfulness, and prioritize what truly matters. Remember, progress isn't about how much you do, it's about how deeply you engage with what you do. When you focus, you don't just get things done, you create meaning, purpose, and lasting change. Stay present, stay intentional, and watch as the world around you transforms. one focused moment at a time. Now, let's shift our attention to a mindset that will sustain you on this journey. Celebrating progress, not perfection. Too often, we fall into the trap of measuring success by how far we've come compared to where we think we should be. We focus on what's missing instead of honoring what's been achieved. But here's the truth. Progress doesn't wait for perfection. It thrives in the messy, imperfect middle. When you learn to celebrate every step forward, no matter how small, you unlock a reservoir of motivation and joy that keeps you moving toward your dreams. Think about it. When was the last time you truly acknowledged your own growth? Maybe you finished a task you'd been putting off for weeks, or maybe you chose kindness over frustration in a challenging moment. These victories might seem minor in the grand scheme of things, but they're proof that you're capable of change. Each tiny win is a brick in the foundation of your future self, a reminder that you're building something extraordinary, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. Celebrating these moments isn't just about feeling good. It's about reinforcing the belief that you're moving in the right direction. The reason this matters so deeply lies in human psychology. Our brains are wired to seek rewards, and when we celebrate progress, we create a positive feedback loop. Every time you recognize and honor your efforts, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical that makes you feel accomplished and motivated. This encourages you to keep going, to take another step, and then another. Over time, this cycle builds momentum, turning small actions into significant achievements. Progress becomes less about external validation and more about internal fulfillment. You stop waiting for others to tell you you're doing well. You start knowing it for yourself. But here's the challenge. Many of us struggle to celebrate because we're conditioned to focus on shortcomings. Society often equates humility with downplaying our wins, but there's a difference between humility and self-neglect. Humility means recognizing your humanity. Self-neglect means ignoring your worth. When you deny yourself the joy of celebration, you rob yourself of the fuel needed to keep going. So, give yourself permission to shine. Whether it's writing down 3 things you're proud of each day or simply pausing to say, I did my best. Make space to acknowledge your efforts. They matter. Celebrating progress also helps you embrace the beauty of imperfection. Life isn't a straight line. It's a winding road filled with lessons, detours, and unexpected turns. When you focus on celebrating the journey rather than obsessing over the destination, you free yourself from the pressure to be flawless. You begin to see mistakes as stepping stones, not failures. Every stumble teaches you resilience. Every misstep shows you where to grow stronger. By celebrating progress, you remind yourself that growth isn't about being perfect, it's about being persistent. And here's the most powerful part. When you celebrate your progress, you inspire those around you to do the same. Your attitude toward growth has a ripple effect. When others see you honoring your journey, they're reminded to honor theirs. Imagine the collective impact of a world where people focus on lifting themselves up instead of tearing themselves down. It starts with you, with choosing to see the value in every effort, no matter how small. So, as you continue on your path, make celebration a daily practice. At the end of each day, reflect on what went well. Did you try something new? Did you show up when it was hard? Did you move closer to your goals, even in a small way? Take a moment to appreciate those wins. Write them down, share them with someone who cares, or simply smile at the thought of them. These celebrations aren't just milestones, they're reminders of your strength, courage, and potential. They prove that progress isn't reserved for the extraordinary. It belongs to anyone willing to take one step forward and then another. Keep celebrating, keep believing, and watch as your life transforms, one joyful acknowledgement at a time. Now let's talk about failure, the word that strikes fear into the hearts of so many. But here's the truth. Failure isn't the enemy, it's the teacher. Every stumble, every setback, every moment where things didn't go as planned holds a lesson waiting to be uncovered. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up isn't that they fail less, it's that they see failure differently. They understand that failure doesn't define you unless you let it stop you. And when you learn how to embrace failure as part of your journey, you unlock a level of resilience that propels you forward. Think about some of the greatest achievements in history. Behind each one lies countless failures. Inventors tested hundreds of designs before creating something groundbreaking. Athletes fell more times than they stood during their first attempts. Writers filled pages with drafts that never saw the light of day. What sets these people apart isn't luck or talent. It's their willingness to keep going despite setbacks. Failure wasn't the end for them. It was feedback. It showed them what didn't work so they could focus on what would. This perspective shifts everything. Instead of fearing failure, you start seeing it as proof that you're trying. The key to reframing failure is understanding that it's not personal. When something doesn't work out, it's not a reflection of your worth. It's simply data. Did you miss a deadline? That doesn't mean you're incapable. It means there's room to improve your time management. Did a project fall short of expectations? It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you've identified areas to grow. Each failure provides clarity, helping you refine your approach and get closer to success. Progress isn't linear and mistakes aren't permanent. They're stepping stones toward mastery. But here's the deeper reason why failure matters. It builds character. Every time you face adversity and choose to rise again, you strengthen your inner resolve. You prove to yourself that you're tougher than you thought, braver than you believed, and capable of more than you imagined. Resilience isn't born from comfort. It's forged through challenges. When you allow yourself to experience failure without letting it break you, you develop an unshakable confidence. You realize that no matter what happens, you'll find a way to move forward. And yet, it's important to acknowledge that failing doesn't feel good. And that's okay. It's natural to feel disappointment, frustration, or even doubt after things don't go as planned. But emotions are temporary. They pass if you let them. Instead of avoiding failure because it hurts, lean into it knowing the pain is preparing you for something greater. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to become better? These questions transform failure from a roadblock into a roadmap, a guidepost pointing you toward growth. There's another layer to this. Failure reminds you that progress requires vulnerability. To try is to risk falling short, but to not try at all is to guarantee stagnation. When you step outside your comfort zone, you open yourself up to both success and failure, and that's where true growth happens. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage. It's choosing to show up even when you're not sure how things will turn out. And every time you do, you remind yourself that you're stronger than fear. So as you continue striving for progress, reframe how you view failure. Stop running from it and start leaning into it. Treat it as a mentor, not a monster. Each misstep brings you closer to breakthroughs, each challenge sharpens your skills, and each setback prepares you for triumph. Remember, success isn't reserved for those who never fail. It belongs to those who refuse to quit. Keep pushing, keep learning, and trust that every failure is shaping you into someone unstoppable. Because on the other side of failure lies the life you've been working toward, one courageous step at a time. Now let's explore the power of your environment, because who and what surrounds you shapes the person you're becoming. Progress isn't made in isolation. It's influenced by the energy, attitudes, and support systems around you. Think about it. When you're surrounded by negativity, doubt, or complacency, it becomes harder to stay motivated. But when you immerse yourself in positivity, encouragement, and growth-oriented people, your potential expands. Your environment acts like a mirror. It reflects back the version of yourself that you see every day. So, if you want to make progress, it's time to take control of the world you create for yourself. The truth is, humans are wired to adapt to their surroundings. We pick up habits, mindsets, and behaviors from those we spend the most time with. This is why surrounding yourself with uplifting, driven individuals is so crucial. They inspire you to think bigger, push harder, and believe in possibilities you might not have considered on your own. When someone believes in you, it ignites a spark within you, a reminder that you're capable of more than you imagined. On the flip side, toxic relationships drain your energy, planting seeds of self-doubt and fear. The people you choose to keep close either lift you higher or hold you back. And only you get to decide who stays. But it's not just about people. Your physical space matters too. Cluttered environments often lead to cluttered minds, while clean, intentional spaces foster clarity and focus. Imagine walking into a room filled with natural light, inspiring books, and reminders of your goals. How does it make you feel? Motivated, calm, ready to take on the day. Now picture a disorganized, chaotic space. Does it evoke the same emotions? Probably not. Your surroundings influence your mindset, so design them to align with the life you're building. Clear out what no longer serves you, surround yourself with things that inspire you, and watch how your energy shifts. Here's the deeper reason this matters. Your environment reinforces your identity. If you want to become someone who prioritizes growth, discipline, and purpose, you need an environment that supports that vision. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to be better, not out of criticism, but out of care. Seek mentors who've walked the path you're on and can guide you through its twists and turns. Build connections with dreamers, doers, and believers. The kind of people who remind you why you started when the road gets tough. These relationships aren't just support systems, they're catalysts for transformation. And yet, it's not always easy to curate a positive environment. Sometimes, letting go of toxic influences means making difficult choices, whether it's distancing yourself from unsupportive friends or stepping away from draining situations. But remember this, protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's necessary. You owe it to yourself to surround yourself with people and places that fuel your dreams, not extinguish them. Every no to negativity creates space for a yes to possibility. Every boundary you set strengthens your commitment to progress. There's another layer to this. Your environment also includes the content you consume. What books are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? What social media feeds are filling your mind? These inputs shape your thoughts, beliefs, and actions, so choose wisely. Feed your mind with ideas that expand your perspective, stories that ignite your passion, and messages that remind you of your worth. Guard your mental space fiercely, knowing that what you allow in has the power to build you up or tear you down. So as you continue pursuing daily progress, take stock of your environment. Who uplifts you? What inspires you? Where do you feel most alive and aligned? Make intentional choices to surround yourself with positivity in your relationships, your physical space, and your mental diet. Remember, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you rise to the level of your environment. By creating a world that mirrors the best version of yourself, you give yourself permission to step into that version fully. And when you do, you'll find that progress feels less like a struggle and more like a natural unfolding, one empowering choice at a time. Now let's talk about gratitude. A quiet yet transformative practice that can shift your entire perspective on progress. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you. It's about recognizing the abundance already present in your life, even when things feel uncertain or incomplete. When you cultivate gratitude daily, you begin to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities. You start viewing setbacks not as failures, but as stepping stones. Gratitude reframes how you experience life, turning what you have into enough and fueling your drive for more. Think about the last time you felt truly grateful. Maybe it was for a kind word from a friend, a moment of peace in your day, or simply the beauty of a sunrise. How did it make you feel? Lighter? More hopeful? Gratitude has a way of lifting burdens and reminding us of the good that exists, even in the midst of struggle. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from fear to possibility. And when you operate from a place of abundance, you unlock a level of creativity and resilience that propels you forward. Progress feels less daunting because you're no longer chasing happiness, you're already living it. The science behind gratitude is equally powerful. Studies show that practicing gratitude rewires your brain, increasing feelings of contentment and reducing stress. When you regularly acknowledge what you're thankful for, your mind begins to scan the world for positives instead of negatives. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulties. It means choosing to find light even in the darkest moments. Over time, this small shift creates profound changes. You become more optimistic, more patient, and more willing to embrace the journey rather than obsess over the destination. But here's the deeper truth. Gratitude amplifies progress by reminding you how far you've come. Too often we get caught up in what's missing, the goals we haven't reached, the milestones still ahead. Gratitude pulls you back to the present, helping you appreciate the steps you've already taken. Did you wake up today with the strength to try again? That's worth celebrating. Have you learned something new, no matter how small? That's growth. Gratitude helps you see that every effort counts, every action matters, and every moment is an opportunity to move closer to your dreams. And yet, gratitude isn't always easy to practice, especially during tough times. When life feels overwhelming, it's natural to focus on what's wrong instead of what's right. But here's the thing, gratitude isn't dependent on circumstances. It's a choice. Even in the hardest moments, there's something to be thankful for. A lesson learned, a person who cares, or simply the fact that you're still standing. Choosing gratitude in these moments doesn't erase the pain, but it gives you strength to keep going. It reminds you that progress isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. There's another layer to this. Gratitude strengthens your connection to others. When you express thanks to a mentor, a loved one, or even a stranger, you create bonds that inspire mutual growth. Gratitude fosters kindness, generosity, and trust, qualities that attract positive energy into your life. And when you surround yourself with people who uplift and support you, your capacity for progress expands exponentially. Gratitude becomes a bridge connecting you to the resources, relationships, and opportunities that help you thrive. So as you continue building momentum toward your goals, make gratitude a daily ritual. Start each morning by listing 3 things you're thankful for, or end your day reflecting on the positives you experienced. Keep a gratitude journal if it helps, jotting down moments that brought you joy or peace. These practices may seem simple, but their impact runs deep. They remind you that progress isn't just about achieving, it's about appreciating. By embracing gratitude, you stop chasing fulfillment and start creating it. You realize that success isn't just about reaching the top, it's about finding meaning in every step along the way. So choose gratitude today, tomorrow, and every day after. Let it guide you, inspire you, and remind you that you already have everything you need to keep moving forward, one grateful heartbeat at a time. Now let's dive into the power of visualization, a tool that transforms dreams into reality by aligning your mind with the life you want to create. Visualization isn't just wishful thinking. It's a deliberate practice that rewires your brain to recognize opportunities, build confidence, and take inspired action. When you vividly imagine yourself succeeding, you begin to feel what it's like to achieve your goals. And those feelings fuel your motivation to make them real. Progress starts in the mind, and visualization is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Think about athletes who mentally rehearse their performances before stepping onto the field or stage. They close their eyes and picture every move, every breath, every moment of victory. Why? Because the mind doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. It responds to both as if they're happening. When you visualize success, your brain begins preparing for it, sharpening your focus, boosting your belief, and priming you to act in ways that align with your vision. You're not just dreaming, you're programming your subconscious to seek out paths that lead to achievement. But here's the key. Effective visualization requires clarity and emotion. It's not enough to vaguely think, I want to succeed. You need to see the details, the specific outcome you desire, the actions you'll take, the challenges you'll overcome. Imagine yourself crossing the finish line, acing the presentation, or living the life you've always envisioned. Feel the pride, joy, and fulfillment as if it's already yours. Emotions amplify the impact of visualization because they anchor your intentions deep within you. The stronger the feeling, the more powerful the effect. And yet, visualization isn't about escaping reality, it's about creating it. When you picture yourself achieving your goals, you're not ignoring the work required, you're reminding yourself why the effort matters. Every step forward becomes easier because you can already see the destination. Doubt fades, replaced by certainty that you're capable of reaching your dreams. This sense of inevitability changes everything. It silences fear, strengthens resolve, and keeps you moving even when the journey feels tough. Here's the deeper reason visualization works. It shifts your mindset from scarcity to possibility. Too often we limit ourselves by focusing on obstacles, what we lack, what could go wrong, what might hold us back. Visualization flips that script. By immersing yourself in the image of success, you train your mind to look for solutions instead of problems. You start noticing resources you hadn't seen before, connections you didn't realize existed, and opportunities hidden in plain sight. Your external world begins to reflect the abundance you've cultivated internally. There's another layer to this. Visualization fosters resilience. When setbacks arise, and they will, your mental image of success acts as an anchor pulling you back on course. You remember what you're working toward and why it matters. Even during moments of doubt, your vision reminds you that failure isn't final, it's feedback. Each challenge becomes a chance to refine your approach, knowing the end result is worth the effort. Visualization gives you the courage to keep going, no matter how rocky the road may seem. So as you continue striving for progress, incorporate visualization into your daily routine. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and immerse yourself in the version of life you're building. See it clearly, feel it deeply, and trust that your actions will bring it closer. Pair visualization with gratitude. Thank yourself for the steps you've taken and express faith in your ability to take the next ones. Together, these practices create unstoppable momentum, turning abstract ideas into tangible results. Remember, what you focus on grows. If you consistently direct your energy towards success, you'll find yourself naturally drawn toward it. Keep visualizing, keep believing, and watch as the impossible unfolds. One vivid, hopeful thought at a time. Now, let's bring everything together and remind ourselves why this journey matters. Because progress isn't just about reaching a destination, it's about becoming the person you were always meant to be. Every step you've taken so far, the habits you've built, the fears you've faced, the gratitude you've practiced, has been shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You've learned that growth doesn't happen overnight, but with each small action, you've proven to yourself that you're capable of change. Now, as we close this chapter, let's solidify the foundation you've created and leave you with one final powerful truth. The secret to unstoppable progress lies in believing before you see. What does it mean to believe before you see? It means trusting in your potential even when evidence is scarce. It means choosing faith over fear, patience over panic, and persistence over perfection. Too often, we wait for proof, external validation, visible results, or someone else's approval before we allow ourselves to feel confident. But here's the reality. Belief is the spark that ignites action, and action is what creates results. When you decide to trust in your ability to figure things out, no matter how uncertain the path may seem, you unlock a level of determination that nothing can stop. Belief is the ultimate fuel for progress. Think about it. Every great achievement began as an idea, a fragile, unproven thought that could have easily been dismissed. What made the difference wasn't logic or certainty. It was the unwavering conviction of the person behind it. They chose to believe in their vision long before others caught on. And here's the beautiful part. You have that same power within you. You don't need guarantees to move forward. You need guts. Guts to take imperfect steps. Guts to embrace discomfort. Guts to keep going even when the finish line feels distant. Progress belongs not to those who know exactly where they're headed, but to those who refuse to give up until they get there. And yet, believing in yourself isn't always easy. Doubts will creep in, setbacks will test you, and moments of uncertainty will challenge your resolve. But remember this, belief isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Every time you show up, every time you choose courage over comfort, you strengthen your self-trust. You remind yourself that you're not defined by your failures or limited by your fears. You are the architect of your future, and the only permission you need to succeed comes from within. Here's the deeper reason belief transforms lives. It shifts the way you approach challenge. When you truly believe in your ability to grow, obstacles become opportunities instead of roadblocks. A missed deadline isn't failure, it's feedback. A rejection isn't defeat, it's redirection. Each experience teaches you something valuable, bringing you closer to mastery. Belief gives you the perspective to see struggles not as threats, but as stepping stones toward greatness. And with that mindset, no challenge feels insurmountable. Breaks without guilt. Celebrate rest as part of the journey. Trust that pausing doesn't derail you. It prepares you to move forward with greater focus and energy. And yet, staying present requires practice. It's not about achieving some mythical state of constant calm or perfection. It's about noticing when your mind drifts toward worries about tomorrow, regrets about yesterday, and gently bringing it back to today. Use tools like deep breathing, grounding exercises, or simply naming 3 things you're grateful for in the moment. These practices help you reconnect with the here and now, creating a sense of stability amidst the chaos. Over time, they train your mind to find stillness, even in motion. So, as you continue building momentum toward your dreams, remember this. The greatest gift you can give yourself is your full presence. Be there, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, for every triumph, every challenge, every breath. Let go of the need to control the future and instead trust that each intentional step you take will lead you exactly where you're meant to be. Progress isn't a race against time, it's a dance with life. Stay grounded, stay open, and let the rhythm guide you. Because when you live with both ambition and awareness, you discover something profound. The journey is the destination, and it's yours to embrace, one luminous moment at a time. Now, let's talk about the power of momentum, the invisible force that turns consistent effort into unstoppable progress. Momentum isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. It's the result of showing up day after day, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Think of it like pushing a boulder uphill. At first, every step demands immense energy, and the incline seems insurmountable. But once you get the boulder rolling, its own weight begins to carry it forward. That's what momentum does. It takes your small, steady actions and transforms them into a wave of achievement that carries you closer to your dreams. The beauty of momentum lies in its compounding effect. Every tiny action you take adds to the next, creating a chain reaction of growth. A single workout might not transform your body overnight, but weeks of workouts build strength, endurance, and confidence. Writing 1 page might seem insignificant, but months of writing produce chapters and eventually a book. Progress often feels slow at first because you're laying the foundation, but once that foundation is solid, momentum kicks in and suddenly everything starts moving faster than you expected. Trust this process, even when results aren't immediate, because momentum rewards persistence. But here's the key. Momentum doesn't just happen on its own. You have to nurture it. The first push is always the hardest, especially when motivation wanes or self-doubt creeps in. On those days, remember this. Momentum isn't about how much you do. It's about doing something. Even the smallest action keeps the ball rolling. Did you write 1 sentence? Great. Did you meditate for 2 minutes? Perfect. Did you take a single step toward your goal? Celebrate it. Momentum thrives on consistency, not intensity. When you prioritize movement over perfection, you keep the energy alive. And yet, there will be moments when momentum stalls, when life gets in the way, or fear whispers that you're not good enough. In those moments, don't panic. Momentum isn't lost forever. It can always be reignited. Start small, with 1 decision to move forward again. 1 workout, 1 email, 1 act of courage. Each step reminds you that you're still in control, that setbacks don't define you. They're simply pauses, not endings. Momentum is resilient because you are resilient. You've built it before, and you can rebuild it anytime you choose. Here's the deeper reason momentum matters. It changes how you see yourself. When you feel the surge of forward motion, doubt fades, replaced by certainty. You begin to trust in your ability to overcome challenges, knowing that every effort contributes to something greater. This belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your confidence fuels more action, which builds more momentum, which strengthens your confidence further. It's a cycle of empowerment that propels you toward success. There's another layer to this. Momentum teaches you patience. It reminds you that big things take time, and that's okay. Instead of rushing to arrive, you learn to enjoy the climb. You celebrate each milestone, knowing it's part of a larger journey. Momentum shifts your focus from outcomes to experiences, from chasing success to becoming someone who succeeds naturally. And in doing so, it makes the process itself rewarding. So, as you continue striving for progress, embrace the power of momentum. Keep taking steps, no matter how small, and trust that they're adding up to something extraordinary. Don't worry about how far you have to go. Focus on how far you've already come. Remember, momentum isn't just about reaching your goals. It's about carrying the energy of growth into every area of your life. Whether it's relationships, health, or personal development, momentum spreads. It lifts everything around it. So stay steady, stay committed, and watch as the force of your efforts carries you toward the life you've always imagined. Because once you harness the power of momentum, there's no limit to where you can go, one unstoppable step at a time. Now, let's talk about the importance of embracing imperfection on your journey to progress. Perfectionism is one of the greatest illusions that holds people back. It whispers lies that you're not ready yet, not good enough, or that your efforts don't count unless they're flawless. But here's the truth. Perfection doesn't exist, and chasing it only slows you down. Real growth happens in the messy middle, where mistakes are made, lessons are learned, and resilience is built. When you let go of the need to be perfect, you free yourself to take bold steps, make meaningful progress, and discover the beauty of being human. Think about how often you've hesitated to start something because you didn't feel prepared or feared it wouldn't turn out exactly as you envisioned. Maybe it was a project, a conversation, or even a dream you've been too afraid to pursue. But here's what perfectionism forgets. Done is better than perfect. The act of starting creates momentum, while waiting for ideal conditions keeps you stuck. Progress isn't about getting everything right the first time. It's about learning, adjusting, and improving along the way. Each imperfect attempt brings you closer to mastery than endless planning ever could. The irony of perfectionism is that it steals joy from both the process and the outcome. Even when you achieve something remarkable, the perfectionist mindset minimizes your success, focusing instead on what could have been better. This constant dissatisfaction leaves you feeling empty, no matter how much you accomplish. But when you embrace imperfection, you shift your focus from criticism to celebration. You begin to see value in every effort, knowing that each step, no matter how flawed, contributes to your growth. Progress becomes less about meeting impossible standards and more about honoring the courage it takes to try. Here's the deeper reason why imperfection matters. It makes you relatable. No one connects with perfection because no one is perfect. What inspires others and what will inspire you is authenticity. When you show up as you are, warts and all, you give yourself permission to be human. And in doing so, you create space for others to do the same. Imperfection fosters connection, humility, and grace. It reminds you that everyone stumbles, but it's those who rise again who leave a lasting impact. There's another layer to this. Imperfection fuels creativity. When you release the pressure to get everything just right, you allow room for experimentation and innovation. Some of history's greatest breakthroughs came from mistakes, penicillin, Post-it notes, even chocolate chip cookies. These failures became successes because someone was willing to embrace the unexpected. Similarly, your willingness to take imperfect action opens doors you might never have imagined. Creativity thrives in freedom, not rigidity, and yet letting go of perfectionism isn't always easy. It requires unlearning years of conditioning that says anything less than flawless is unacceptable. Start by reframing failure, not as evidence of inadequacy, but as proof of effort. Celebrate your attempts, knowing that each one brings you closer to excellence. Remind yourself that progress isn't linear. It's a series of experiments, adjustments, and breakthroughs. Trust the process, and trust yourself to figure things out as you go. So as you continue building momentum toward your goals, give yourself permission to be imperfect. Let go of the belief that you need to have everything figured out before you begin. Take messy, imperfect action and watch how it transforms your journey. Remember, the world doesn't reward perfection, it rewards persistence. Every stumble teaches you something new. Every misstep shapes you into someone stronger. Progress isn't about avoiding flaws, it's about embracing them as part of the masterpiece you're creating. Keep moving forward, keep learning, and above all, keep showing up as your authentic self. Because in the end, it's not perfection that changes lives, it's the courage to keep going, imperfections and all. Now, let's talk about the power of self-compassion, a quiet yet transformative force that keeps you moving forward when the journey feels heavy. So often we treat ourselves with harshness instead of kindness, expecting more from ourselves than we would ever demand from others. We criticize our mistakes, dwell on setbacks, and hold ourselves to impossible standards. But here's the truth. Progress isn't fueled by punishment. It's nurtured by understanding. When you choose to speak to yourself with compassion rather than criticism, you create a safe space to grow, heal, and thrive. Self-compassion doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means lifting yourself up so you can reach them. Think about how differently you'd approach someone you love who is struggling. If a friend missed a deadline or stumbled during a big presentation, would you berate them? Probably not. You'd offer encouragement, remind them of their strengths, and help them see the lesson in the experience. Yet when it comes to ourselves, we're often our own harshest critics. This lack of self-kindness doesn't motivate us, it drains us. It saps our energy, erodes our confidence, and makes progress feel like an uphill battle. But when you extend the same grace to yourself that you'd give to someone else, everything shifts. You begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth, not reasons for shame. The beauty of self-compassion lies in its ability to reframe failure. Instead of viewing missteps as evidence of inadequacy, you start seeing them as part of the human experience. Everyone falls short sometimes. That's what makes us human. What sets successful people apart isn't that they never fail. It's that they respond to failure with kindness rather than cruelty. They remind themselves that setbacks don't define them, they inform them. And this mindset gives them the courage to try again, knowing they'll meet their efforts with compassion no matter the outcome. But self-compassion isn't just about softening your inner dialogue. It's also about taking action rooted in care. When you're kind to yourself, you make choices that align with your well-being. You rest when you're tired, seek support when you need it, and celebrate small wins along the way. These acts of self-love aren't indulgent, they're essential. They replenish your energy, renew your motivation, and keep you grounded in the present moment. Progress becomes sustainable because you're honoring your needs instead of pushing yourself to exhaustion. Here's the deeper reason self-compassion matters. It builds resilience. Life will always have moments of difficulty, times when things don't go as planned, when you feel overwhelmed or when doubt creeps in. In those moments, self-compassion acts as a buffer, protecting you from despair. It reminds you that you're doing the best you can with what you have right now, and that's enough. When you treat yourself with tenderness, you develop the strength to face adversity without losing sight of your worth. You learn to rise after falling, not because you're punishing yourself, but because you believe in your ability to keep going. There's another layer to this. Self-compassion inspires authenticity. When you stop striving for perfection and start embracing your humanity, you give yourself permission to be real. You stop hiding behind masks of invincibility and start showing up as you are, flaws and all. This vulnerability connects you to others, creating bonds built on trust and mutual understanding. People don't resonate with perfection, they resonate with honesty. By practicing self-compassion, you not only deepen your relationship with yourself, but also strengthen your relationships with those around you. So as you continue striving for progress, make self-compassion a priority. Speak to yourself with the same warmth and encouragement you'd offer a dear friend. Forgive yourself for mistakes, knowing they're stepping stones to success. Celebrate your efforts, even when they fall short of expectations. Remember, you're not meant to have it all figured out. You're meant to keep growing, learning, and becoming. Progress isn't about achieving flawlessness. It's about embracing the journey with an open heart and a gentle spirit. Keep treating yourself with kindness and watch how it transforms not only your results, but also your entire experience of life. Because when you lead with compassion, you unlock a level of strength and joy that nothing else can provide. Now, let's bring it all home with a powerful truth. Progress is not just about the actions you take. It's about who you become in the process. Every step forward shapes your character, refines your mindset, and deepens your resilience. The journey itself transforms you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than the person you were when you began. This is the ultimate reward of progress. It's not just what you achieve, it's who you become. And as we close this chapter together, I want to leave you with one final profound reminder. You are already enough, and yet you're also capable of so much more. Think about how far you've come since the beginning of this journey. You've learned to celebrate small wins, embrace imperfection, and nurture self-compassion. You've built habits that align with your goals, surrounded yourself with positivity, and redefined failure as feedback. Each of these lessons has been planting seeds within you, seeds of courage, patience, and determination. Now, those seeds are growing into roots that anchor you and branches that reach for new heights. Progress isn't something external. It's an evolution of your inner world. The challenges you've faced weren't obstacles. They were opportunities to expand your capacity for greatness. But here's the deeper truth. Transformation happens in the quiet moments, the ones no one else sees. It's in the mornings when you choose discipline over comfort, the evenings when you reflect on your day with gratitude, and the countless decisions you make daily to honor your vision. These moments may feel ordinary, but they're extraordinary because they shape the trajectory of your life. Success isn't reserved for the loud or the flashy. It belongs to those who show up consistently, even when no one is watching. Every choice you make adds another layer to the foundation of the person you're becoming. And yet, there will still be days when doubt creeps in, when the path feels uncertain, and the weight of responsibility seems heavy. On those days, remember this: growth doesn't happen without discomfort. The struggles you face aren't signs that you're doing something wrong. They're proof that you're stretching beyond your limits. Like a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis, the struggle is part of the beauty. It's what prepares you for flight. Trust that every challenge is making you stronger, sharper, and more prepared for the dreams you're chasing. You don't need to have everything figured out right now. You just need to keep moving forward. There's another layer to this: the impact you have on others through your journey. When you commit to growth, you inspire those around you to do the same. Your courage gives others permission to dream bigger. Your persistence reminds them that success is possible, even when the road is long. Even if you never say a word, your actions speak volume. By simply showing up as your best self, you create ripples of change that extend far beyond your own life. Progress isn't a solo endeavor. It's a collective movement fueled by individuals choosing to rise. So, as you step into the next phase of your journey, carry this wisdom with you. You are the architect of your future, and every decision you make matters. Whether it's choosing kindness over frustration, action over hesitation, or faith over fear, each choice moves you closer to the life you envision. Don't wait for perfect conditions to start building the life you want. Begin today, exactly where you are with what you have. Trust that every effort counts. Every lesson prepares you, and every moment holds potential. Progress isn't about arriving at some distant destination. It's about living fully in the present while reaching towards something greater. Finally, know this: you are capable of more than you can imagine right now. There's a version of you waiting ahead, stronger, braver, and more radiant than you've ever been. She's cheering for you, believing in you, and reminding you that you're worthy of every dream you're working toward. So, take her hand and keep going. Celebrate how far you've come, stay focused on where you're headed, and trust the process along the way. Progress is infinite. You'll never stop growing, learning, and evolving, and that's the magic of it. You've got this. Keep rising, keep shining, and above all, keep becoming, because the world needs the gift only you can bring, and every step you take brings us closer to seeing it unfold. Thank you for trusting me to guide you through this journey. Now go and make every single day count.